let's move on and let's talk about the game last night. Tottenham 0, Chelsea 3. When we first saw the lineup, nobody was unhappy with that lineup. Just like in the Conference League, nobody was unhappy with that lineup. And that first half, we came out like an absolute house on fire. The amount of energy we did put into that first half was unbelievable. I mean, nobody could have expected that first half to go as good as it went.
Yeah, and I thought the fact that I think the way we played in the first half in terms of tactically was really good from Nuno. I think we
pressing in packs,
outnumbered them in the central midfield. I thought Jorginho and Kovacic really struggled badly to deal with us in the centre. We were crowding them out. We were finding Son in decent positions. I thought Ndombele, Højbjerg, Dele, Lo Celso, Kane, Son, they're all linking up quite well in the first half, I felt. And we were causing them trouble without really seriously hurting them, apart from a couple of times. Apart from that
Reguilon chance, man. I had nightmares of it last night. Like, why the hell's he just got to put his laces through that?
Yeah,
He's just got to put your laces through that. You have to have a go. You have to have a go. Like, you can't be crossing the ball there. You have to be putting your laces through it. But he just didn't seem like he knew what he was doing in that part of the pitch.
Yeah, he didn't seem confident taking on the shot. He seemed like he was looking for the pass, and if it was too easy to read, it became very predictable. But I thought in terms of defensively,
Romero's quality.
Yeah, I thought the back line were Emerson, Romero, Dyer, Reguilon, all really solid. I thought Lukaku was struggling to really impact the game. Mason Mount found a couple of nice moments, but there's a reason he got taken off at half time, because he was really struggling to impact the game. I felt Mason Mount, and I thought Spurs winning the duels. We were more aggressive. Chelsea didn't really know how to deal with what we were offering in the first half properly. And look, to be fair, I think they were also quite defensively solid, Chelsea, to be fair. So I'm not going to say like we were completely dominant, but I think we were the better side in the first half. And I think it showed by the fact that Tuchel had to rethink it at half time and bring on Kante. I think that was proof of that he knew that something was going wrong and he had to change it. But in that first half, we had a we started with a weird formation. Kane out on the left hand side, Lo Celso out on the right hand side, Son as the furthest man forward, you trying to use his pace up against Thiago Silva, Ndombele, Højbjerg and Dele in a midfield three, and that back four. And I think just the way we adjusted everything was working really well.
It threw them off, didn't it, from the start of the game? They had no clue the way we were going to set up. And, everyone that we spoke to in terms of the lineup before the game, nobody knew which way we were going to set up.
It took them by surprise, massively. I think it took everyone by surprise. I think it took Chelsea by surprise. And to be fair, I just think it took them 45 minutes to realise what was happening. And then that's the thing with elite coaches like Tuchel. Like, he can see a picture on the pitch of what the problem is and what's happening, and he could see how to rectify it, and he completely did that. But let's just talk about the first half for a bit more.
I can talk about the first half for the rest of the stream.
Exactly.
I don't want to talk about the second half.
I know people complaining like, oh, why is everyone I see on Twitter people on social media saying why are people like saying the first half was so good, like we didn't create anything, like the bar is so low that people say that people are saying the first half was great and or whatever that. The reason why we're praising how we played in the first half is not only did we look sharp, we looked creative going forward, like we could create stuff. We looked really solid at the back, and we're playing the best team, most informed team in the country right now, I didn't give us a chance to be in the game. I thought it was going to be like the Arsenal game, where it was over by half time. And I know it was over by full time, obviously, like the game.
Well, it was over 5 minutes into the second half.
5 minutes in the second half, it was game over. But, Arsenal in that game, like they were never in the game kind of thing. It was completely all Chelsea. At least in the first half, we made them think about it. We forced them into a rethink by the way we were playing. And I think in all the circumstances surrounding this game for Nuno, Son just coming back from injury, Lo Celso, Romero, Sanchez arriving a day before, they didn't seem like they could have 90 minutes in them. And Ndombele, who was brilliant in the first half, he couldn't last 90 minutes. I think Dele and Kane didn't look completely on their game, especially in the second half either. I think a lot of circumstances for Nuno surrounding this game. I think he tried to do something different, and he he hit rather than stuck in blackjack terms in this kind of game, and it didn't work out in the long run. in terms of the full performance. But for us to play as well as we did against that Chelsea side in the first half was a good sign for me on that, just that alone. So I think people don't appreciate how difficult it is to play against this Chelsea side. No one's been able to lay a glove on them pretty much, apart from maybe Liverpool this season. Even then, they were down to 10 men, Chelsea. So I think that first half we gave Chelsea more problems than most teams have so far this season.
I would say, judging on this season so far, I would say that first half was probably the hardest first half Chelsea have played this season. And second half was one of the easiest.
Yeah, that's true. But first half, you can say whatever you want. We still didn't create enough chances. It's all true. But it's so difficult to play against the Chelsea side. We could have a fully fit team who've been with a Nuno manager for over a year, and this Chelsea team could still probably beat us. You know what I mean? Even if we're in form. So the fact that Nuno's still figuring it out, and we went toe to toe for at least a half, I think that's something a positive in the way that Nuno could figure out maybe how to play against Chelsea. He had planned for that. But going to the second half, I think this is why Tuchel's an elite manager. He brought the Kante, made the Kante change, and immediately he'll start making effect. They had within a minute they'll start creating chances. They were much more aggressive in the centre of the park.
It's not just about him being elite manager, though. It's about what he has at his disposal.
That's also true.
What I mean?
That's also true.
He's got Kante to come on. Who did we have on the bench yesterday?
Exactly. Kante, Werner, all these.
Who did we have on the bench yesterday? We had Brian Hill.
Yeah, Hill and Scarlett.
From an attacking point of view, we had Brian Hill and Dane Scarlett. Dane Scarlett was never going to come on yesterday, so it's just Brian Hill, pretty much.
Exactly. So that's completely right. That's why it's so crucial to have deep squad of quality, because it makes all the difference in this day and age with everyone having such deep squads. You need it to compete, which is what's going to be ultimately our undoing probably. But in terms of Tuchel, I think in the first half they really struggled to break out of our press when we were pressing them. They only had two options. We were cutting off all their passing lanes. They really struggled to contain our press. But when once they brought on Kante, they had an extra man to be able to play out of the pressure situation. That also helped. Not only did they have an extra man to play out the press, they also had an extra man to press us. Whereas before, when Kane and Lo Celso were dropping deeper, we were finding lots of pockets of space. Once Kante came on, because he's two players, it completely nullified us. And then not only that as well, once we're 1-0 down with Kante on the pitch, right? Once Kante comes on, the worst thing to happen is you concede an early goal, because all of a sudden,
that's the thing, yeah.
You're 1-0 down, and now Kante's on the pitch. It's like you're never going to get through. And it's from a set piece as well.
Exactly, it's not really conceding goal, but the manner in which we conceded both goals. A set piece. Dele Alli, I don't even know why he's on Thiago Silva. Why is Dele Alli marking Thiago Silva? It makes no sense to me. Literally makes no sense to me. But anyway, that's what happened. Completely loses his man Thiago and a brilliant goal. Second goal with that massive deflection off Dyer, and it spins into the inside of the post. I mean, what can you do with that?
I agree, but even the second goal showed how much Chelsea had upped their game in the second half, because it was Lo Celso who was in and around our defensive third. In the first half, he was able to find a bit of space and pick out a pass and be a bit sharper and find someone in space. But in the second half, their pressing up their game, and Lo Celso was pressed, and he couldn't deal with the Chelsea press in the second half. They ended up winning the ball. Obviously, it fell to Kante, and he got a lot of luck, but the way they got into that position showed how much Chelsea had upped their game in the second half. And I think with those two, once the second goal went in, it was over, because Chelsea in their mid block with 5 defenders and then 3 pretty much defensive mids.
Yeah.
Especially once we made our subs, it was over, because we weren't going to score.
We had to score when we were on top in the first half. That was the only way we were going to get anything out of the game.
Yeah.
That was the only way. And when you look at the whole season so far, 1 goal this season so far from open play.
That was against City on a
against
breakaway.
City, yeah. Only 1 goal so far from open play.
5 games.
Yeah, which is a joke, really. It's a joke with the players that we've got in this squad. We should be doing a lot better than we're doing. The other 2 goals, a penalty from Dele Alli and that free kick that went all the way through from Heung-min Son. So I commend Nuno. I commend Nuno for the way he set up the team yesterday. I really do. I was very angry yesterday in terms of me saying Nuno doesn't do enough within games to change the way things are going, which is true. But I can also feel for him as well, big time yesterday, in terms of yesterday was a circumstance of the international break. Why are players tired out so quickly? And this international break has screwed us so much in terms of these 3 players from South America, Heung-min Son as well. He didn't look completely fit yesterday. And, you know, it's just a massive circumstance yesterday, that second half of what happened in that international break, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I just feel like as well, we're playing against a better team with a better squad. That's just the reality. And you got to overachieve and outperform them.
Which we were doing in the first half.
Exactly. But as I said, I remember saying this to Brian at half time. Look, we're doing great. Are we going to be able to keep this up for another 45 minutes? Because we're expanding a lot of energy, so much energy in that first half, and intensity and aggression, and we were doing great. No doubt about it. We were doing great. I was just worried that we were going to burn out, and we ended up burning out within 7 minutes.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect it to happen that quickly. But I didn't think that without getting a goal, having all that all the good stuff without getting a goal, spelt bad news.
Do you think we burnt out like physically within the first 7 minutes second half, or do you think those goals just completely just knocked the stuffing out of us?
I think the goals knocked the stuffing out of us for
Yeah.
sure. I think if we were still, if we didn't concede those early goals, I think it could have been a bit. Although look, Chelsea did, regardless of the goals, it was clear Chelsea gained control of the game. That's for sure. Chelsea definitely upped their game in the second half because they were getting chances without the goals. But if that goal from the manner of the goals we conceded, if this goal from a set piece doesn't go in, maybe we could have got that second wind of energy from somewhere when the game is still there for us to try and grab something. But once it went 2-0, I think the players lost belief. That's the most annoying thing and the most frustrating thing with how we played. The players lost belief at 2-0 that we were ever going to get back in the game. I think the subs didn't help, but looking at the subs, the subs didn't help, but there's not much he could have done to change it, really.
No.
There's not many subs he could have made to really change the game and swing it back in our favour. So I feel for him. He tried something and it didn't work. It definitely didn't work. But the players definitely lost belief. Like, you could see it with 20 minutes to go. That they didn't seem like they were bothered trying to get back in the game. It was like they were trying to see out a 2-0 loss, for the second half. That was the most disappointing thing. They didn't seem to be trying to get back in the game. There was no ambition, when we were on the ball, to progress the ball forward, try and get in attacking positions, trying to get players in the box, trying to swing the ball in, make Chelsea think. It was just kind of get the ball, lump it long to Son, see if we can get him in behind, or Dele just playing a quick counter. And that's it. We had nothing in that second half.
We had nothing, and as it wore on, our physicality went down and down and down, and players like Christian Romero, who I thought had a stellar first half, pocketed Lukaku pretty much in that first half. He was going down with cramp with 20 minutes to go, 15 minutes to go.
Yeah, exactly.
And you could just see the physical impact what this international break has actually had on this squad. And it's a diminished squad with a lot of injuries. We could have done with Moura and Bergwijn big time yesterday. If we had them as options to bring on, I think we would have had a chance.
Maybe not 2-0, but I think we could have had something to maybe get back in the game. I think at 2-0 the game was done anyway.
Yeah,
I think having Kante in that mid block, mate. Chelsea are a formidable defence in that system with 3 centre-backs, the 2 wing-backs, and then the 3 midfielders. We ain't getting past that 2-0. The only chance we're getting past it is if the game is still with us, it would there for us to get in.
Yeah.
If it's still 0-0 and they have to come out a bit and leave some space for us to exploit, then the game is there. But if it's 2-0 and the mid block is over,
even if it's going into the last 20 minutes at 0-0. With the physical impact that we had from this international break, I still think we would have lost the game. Just because Chelsea were growing and growing throughout that second half, and we were diminishing and diminishing.
In terms of Nuno and the tactics and everything, I think this game, I don't blame him for how we lost it and everything. It's more the frustrations come against Palace last week. I think some of the decisions were inexplicable. I couldn't explain them.
But that's what I was going to say as well. Compare Tuchel at half-time in this game and compared to Nuno at half-time in the Crystal Palace game.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That cuts the. That's a cut above the rest. Thomas Tuchel.
That's the difference. That's the difference between a good manager and an elite manager. And I don't think Nuno. I don't think Nuno's a bad manager by any stretch. I don't think
He's just not an elite manager.
he's not of the level of. I don't think he's of the level of the people we're competing with. Klopp, Tuchel, Pep.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he's on that level whatsoever.
Whereas
So-
Poch was.
Exactly. I really believe that. Poch was an elite coach, and I think.
Albeit not getting on with Messi at the moment, though.
No, but look, he made the sub and he got the winner, so
True.
that's the thing. But anyway, I think Nuno has got his work cut out for him at the moment. Obviously patience. It's only 5 games in, all right? It's still 5 games in, and he hasn't had his a full week with his full squad there to literally coach what he wants really out of the team. And he's had so many different circumstances. Even now, we're like 5 games into the season, he's still dealing with difficult circumstances which are beyond his control. But you know what? Arsenal's coming up this week, and if we put in a performance like the second half against Chelsea against Arsenal, there's going to be very little excuses for that. I'm really hoping he sees how we were in the front foot in the first half against Chelsea, and to be fair, he said it at the full. He said it in his. We should watch his press conference. Actually, I haven't.
Yeah. We can watch it. Let's just get on with this review, and then we'll
watch it in a
put on
minute.
The press conference.
But he said it that he believes the only positive to take from that game was the first half performance. So I'm hoping that is a indicator of how he wants to move forward with this Tottenham team, because I really believe that we need the likes of Lo Celso and Ndombele in the team as much as possible to influence the game positively from a creative standpoint, having quality on the ball. Because without them, without their potential, I know they haven't shown it, but without their potential quality on the ball, providing for the team, it's not coming from anywhere else. That's the reality. It's just not going to come from anywhere else. We need to try and find ways to get the best out of them.
Yeah, and it's that mentality issue rearing its head again. It's that mentality issue. Yes, I know in terms of, I keep talking about the fitness of the team in terms of yesterday, but that wasn't the reason we lost the game. The reason we lost the game is heads dropped after that first goal, after that second goal, and we had no fight. No fight at all in that second half, and then the fitness started to go down. So I think that mentality issue, I've said it time and time again, is that when one thing goes wrong within a game, heads drop and we completely give up pretty much. And I think that's what happened yesterday.
It is. I would say we lost the game because of tactics. That's why I think we lost the game. I think Tuchel out-tacticked us. I think that's why we lost the game. I think that Kante sub did win Chelsea the game, as much as the goals were lucky, or not the set piece one not so much, but the deflection was lucky. They gained control of that game, and the way he manoeuvred the midfield to gain control back. And not only that, because it all happened so quickly, he gained control and then pretty much won the game within 7 minutes of the second half. That's what killed us pretty much.
Yeah.
Not only was it the tactical change, it all happened way too quickly, and sometimes you can't really do much about when it happens that quickly. Yeah, you could say Nuno could have made a sub quicker, and he should have. Like, after the first goal, maybe he could have made a change. Well, not so much what change to be made, but maybe he could have done something to try and muscle control back from the game. But I guess, and what I'm guessing is, we conceded 4 minutes into the second half, and because we played so well in the first half, maybe he's thinking, okay, it's a tough spell, 1-0 down, let's just try and ride it out and then gain control back. But what happened was we conceded a second, and then once a second goes in, it's pretty much game over. So that's what lost us the game, and a lot of people are going to obviously complain. Yesterday wasn't for me wasn't symptomatic of why a lot of people have been complaining for this season. Yesterday's game can happen. I think what's happened before then is a bit more frustrating than yesterday. I think yesterday against the best team in the country, obviously it's sad to lose 3-0 the manner we did, especially in the second half. But I think, the performances against Palace, the performances against Wolves, these performances that are what worry me a lot more than what happened yesterday.
Yeah, I completely agree. Although it was hard to watch, very hard to watch in that second half yesterday. It really was. And, I went down for a bloody beer at half time, come up, and it's 2-0.
2-0.
I had no clue. I had no clue they had scored. I get back to my seat, I look at the scoreboard, and I was like, what the hell has happened here? I was so happy at half time. I was so happy. Oh,
it could all change very quickly. And these stats as well, as much as we don't want to get Nuno's back too much, but the stats are worrying. Shots on goal per game, we're 19th. Shots allowed per game, we're 18th. Goals were 17th. XG were 19th. Possession were 15th. Successful pressures were 20th. Percentage tackles won 19th. Percentage successful take-ons were 18th. Progressive carries were 19th. Progressive carry distance 20th. And percentage aerial duels won 15th. So we're near the bottom of the league of a lot of worrying statistics, unfortunately.